Bike chain maintenance. Clips from Austin Resource Recovery's Fix It at Home online repair series.
All right, so I'll go on here some basic maintenance thing you can do. The most important thing to say about this is you need to look at your chain kind of like you do your tires. A chain is something that's going to have to be replaced if you're using your bike a lot. A lot of people don't realize that, and that leads to a lot of problems. The tires are easy because you can kind of see the tread go down. You can just glance down and you can see that the tread is wearing out. But the tire is not so obvious. The chain is not so obvious, but it's just as or as more important. So what happens with the chain is it can, what it's called chain stretch. And it's not really that the chain is stretching like an elastic band. What's happening is these chains have, I counted it up now, I can't remember what the number is, a lot of parts. There's almost more parts in your chain than all the rest of your bike put together. So these little metal pieces, they're right down there, a few inches above the ground. They're getting sprayed with grit, all kinds of stuff, getting into these parts, and it's abrading these highly machined parts with close tolerances. And so what happens is the chain just kind of gets looser. The metal wears down. And the problem with that is as the metal wears down, it also starts wearing down unevenly the teeth on the chain set and the cassette. So what I've got right here is a picture. This is just my bike. There's cheaper chains than this. But so on my bike, I got a $17 chain. And the day I made this slide, I priced it. So if I had to replace the chain ring, it cost me $125. You can see the prices. So by occasionally checking my chain and replacing it, you know, I'm saving a lot of money over ignoring this stuff. And then one day having all kinds of problems, shifting, chain jumping everywhere, not even safe. You try to change gears, you're changing lanes and you're trying to switch gears and stuff is jumping all over the place and the chain falls off. Very dangerous, not good. So just know that you've got to replace your chain now and again. So the question is, when do you replace your chain? So each pair of links is an inch, and you can lay a ruler up against it if you can make the ruler actually line up and stay still long enough. The other thing you can do is you can get a chain tool, and a couple things on this slide right here. This is a chain tool. It's got, you can see on the right hand side it says 0.75. If it's more, if you put your chain tool on like that, because on the left hand side it slips in a link, on the right hand side it should come down but not be able to go into that gap. If it does not go into the gap, you're good. If it goes into the gap on that 0.75 side, you need to replace it. If you're using an 11 or 12 speed chain and the chain tool goes into the gap on the other side, the 0.5 side, you also need to replace it. The other thing to show on this slide is somebody asked about something about this a minute ago. This gold link here is the special link that you can use to break the chain without a chain breaking tool. So it's good to get one of these chain stretch tools so you can check your chain now and again. It costs you a little bit. Again, it's going to save you money in the long run. Another thing that's going to save you money is cleaning your chain. I never do this enough. Probably nobody does it enough. But you can get these special little tools and you can put some fluid in there and you run the chain through the tool and it cleans some of the grit off the chain. If you want to get into a world of YouTube arguments and, back and forth, you can go down that rabbit hole and find out all kinds of the pros and cons and about different ways of cleaning chains. But even just doing this, or even just wiping down your chain with an old rag to get the water off it after a rainy ride is worth doing because you're getting the grit off that's going to cause the problems. Also, lubricating the chain is important. You want to get a chain lube on there, make that chain last longer, but do check it. periodically. So replacing war chains, again, here's the special link that you can do this. You can do this by hand, or you can get a chain breaking tool in the center, or on the right, you can get a special tool that helps you pop these special quick links apart quickly. I actually got one of these, and yeah, it's not necessary. You can do it with a pair of pliers. You can do it by hand, but I tell you what, having that tool, it definitely makes the job so much quicker. You just snap and the chains comes apart. So if you can afford it, I'd recommend it.
John, we did have a question. Just want to make sure we clarify. The question was, what do I use to clean the chains? And we did have a couple of suggestions in the chat as well, with the chain lube and dry rag, or maybe even an old toothbrush. Do you mind speaking to sort of tools people might have at home?
Yes. A toothbrush is good. Another thing that I saw suggested is get a toilet bowl brush, and a dedicated toilet bowl brush, and you could use that to clean off all kinds of things on the bike. Just scrub it all down with that. The chain tool, there's these fluids you can buy. I get the biodegradable one. It's for cleaning bike parts, and that's what I use in my chain cleaning thing. And I spray that down. I use that to kind of degrease everything. And then there's different kinds of lubes. And again, there's a rabbit hole right there of debate about which is the best type. Really, anything is better than nothing on that. But putting some lube on there, just having an old T-shirt that you've worn out, you keep that near your bike. And when you come home after a rainy ride, just run your chain through that, by hand, and just get the stuff, the grease and stuff off there, and the dirt and grit and everything off there, and then throw a little lube on the chain, and periodically, check it for stretch.
Thank you for watching.